Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So we've got the oven flipped on its side, control panel up of course, and we're looking at the bottom of our oven. So what I did is I've got a couple of scrap pieces of angle iron. I want to keep as much weight to the bottom of this iron as I can. So what I'm going to do is I'll tack those in. And we'll do not a full weld, but enough that it'll hold nice and tightly. We'll do one on that side and the other. So the game plan for today is to actually run some of the wiring and button up the bottom of this portion of the oven. So what I'm going to do is get the coils wired up roughly. So we won't actually hook them up. We'll just run the wiring to them with the wiring shield and run it up this channel that you see here, right up to the box. And then we'll cut a piece of the sheet metal that we had cut already actually before, cut out the corners and mount it in. And then if I get it time to do so, I will paint it. This way, once it's flipped back up on its top, I'll never have to worry about the bottom. So let me weld that up, and then we'll get the roll of wiring out and start measuring. You know, something you should know about when you're doing the wiring like this and you're going to button up the bottom, make sure you're always giving yourself extra or excess wiring, of course, right? Listen, I know it sounds wasteful, but I'll be honest with you, you know, having extra and marking them at the end of the day is going to save you a lot of headaches. So let me get this camera on a tripod and let's get rocking and rolling. All right, guys, let's get this welder hooked up and turned on. Gas is on. We're still running on low gas, but that's okay. Let's see if we can get these tacked in. That would be great. I'll use these gloves. The welder should be still at a good setting for that, so we should be okay. Let's see if we can get this welded up. Cut that off. Got that nice and tacked in. But that should do it. All right. Put this away. Okay guys, so what I'm going to do now, before we run the wiring, is I'm going to throw a bead of high temp silicone all the way around the edges on this. Is it necessary at the bottom? No, not really. I'm going to do it anyway, just in case there's a pinhole from the welds or anything like that. It'll make sure that it's sealed. Give it a little bit of time to dry, and then we'll go ahead and start pulling some wire through that. This has got to be cut a little bit more, I think. It should be okay. Of course, it's leaking out from the sides. Hold on a sec, let me clean this up. Cleaned it up a bit, should be better. Oh yeah, night and day. Okay, we should be good there. Let me close this up. And we'll just run our fingers across that. Try not to make a friggin' mess everywhere. Looking pretty good. Oh, okay. We're good. Okay guys, so we've got my high temp wiring. Now this is a 10 gauge. It is up to 200 Celsius, which is 394 Fahrenheit, if I'm not mistaken. Very pliable wire. Actually worked with it multiple times. It works really well for me. This is what we're going to use for the heat coils. So what I like to do is, again, run my wire from the top of the actual controller. I leave excess, okay, just safer when you're working, and pre-cut. Once I pre-cut them, we'll do the one coil for now, and then I'll show you how I'm going to do that, and then leave the little excess. So we'll bring this up on top, and we'll run just through the bottom, like so. Okay, and we'll run right through. So we'll do the furthest coil for now, and we'll run the longest one, and we'll run that through here, like so. Okay, and then we'll run that through here and up and around and into the coil pack. And that should be more than sufficient enough here. Now, what I want to do is leave a little bit of excess because I have to insulate in behind, right? And then I'm going to leave a little extra out here. And that's going to be my one line. So we'll do this twice, of course. Okay. So cut that. I'll pull this back out. And we'll run a double line. What I'm going to do with the double line is we'll cut them, and then I'm going to mark them. Okay, so I know what line and what burner it's going to. So it makes life easier because this oven will have controlled, so I can actually run one burner, and then, you know, if I want to warm something up or warm up the oven, pre-warm it, I can run it and warm it with the one burner instead of having both running. If I want to heat up some vinyl or plastic, we can do that. You're not going to need excess heat when you're doing that. So we've got the two here. So I'm going to go grab some markers. I'll show you what I'm using, and we'll mark them. Got different colors. I think I still have some. Gold, white, red, and I kind of swore I had a blue. Silver, that's it. Okay. So this line will do red and white, and that line will do gold and silver. So what I'm going to do is literally, hopefully have some paint. Great. Might be time for some new markers. Oh, I got some. Okay. Well, there's my red. So basically just marking the end of that wire so I know which one I'm playing with. And we'll do the same here. We know which one we're playing with. Throw that on the ground. Just shake up the weight a bit. Oh, white's good. And this stuff dries pretty quick. Now, listen, if you don't want to do this, you don't really have to. You can always do it with a meter. I just find it makes my life easier, so that's why I do it. You know, a few seconds of work and my life's easy. So, and the other one, of course, we'll do gold and silver. So we're going to get some of our heat shield. I've got some here and some here. Now, the heat shield is fiberglass. Unfortunately, my regular supplier didn't have what I normally use. So I went to another supplier and he gave me this one. Should be okay. I've never used this company before, so I'm a little weary. But we'll find out. Now, what I normally order on these are 20 footers. This is only 10 and slightly smaller than the one I normally use. Now, that's okay. The wire should still fit in there pretty good. At least I'm hoping. And we'll go from there. So let's see if we can get this wire run in there. That's the challenge part. Make sure we got the white, we got the red, right? White, red. This is, you know, you need a little bit of patience to do this stuff, guys, because it's pretty tight, but it should go. So what you do is you kind of slide it, pinch it and slide it up a little, like that, and then pull her down. So you need a little bit of patience for this one. Now the larger ones are a little easier to maneuver, but this seems to be doing okay. Now it still has the same value for heat protection, so that's good. Basically all this is really doing is, you know, increasing the amount of heat this wire can take. Now, in all honesty, I mean, we're running the wire at the bottom of the oven, so it's really not going to get that hot. You know, the bottom of the oven, underneath of the oven, most likely will not hit, you know, I'm going to say 200 Fahrenheit. Now the inside of the oven will, but because we're running the wiring down the bottom of the oven, and we're going to of course have some heat insulation in between, it's going to work out quite nicely. So see how tedious this is? This is really tedious. I don't know if you guys can still see that, but we're getting there. Now you can buy wiring that has a shielded on it already. I haven't found anything of this 10 gauge that works well for me. I like using the 10 gauge. I just find it sustains the power, works very well for me. I mean, up to you guys. I mean, you guys can, you know, use whatever you like. As long as it's heat resistant, and as long as it can handle the ampage that you're bringing through, right? So this is this unit here is running a 40 ampere solid state relay. We're well under that. We're going to be hovering at the about 27 amps. And this is over and above of that. So that, for me, it's more about having more than I need than not enough. So we're just going to keep going. We're almost there. Now, if these are too short, I will leave the exposed wire outside, because I can always add, because I really want to button up the bottom of this oven today. And then I will order some more. And then what we'll do is when we join them, you can use crazy glue to join them, or quick set glue. And then I use a bigger one and overlap it, and then join them together, and then it works great. That's awesome. Then once we got it all wired up, guys, we're going to have to take, actually before we get it all wired up, we got to do it. What do we got to do? We got to cut a hole, an inlet and outlet for the controller, and get the controller wired up. So that will be probably our next step. Almost done, guys. Okay, guys, so I've gone ahead and did the other one off camera. That one is silver and gold. It's a shorter run. I'm making sure I'm leaving a little bit of excess there. This is the one we did. I showed you when we did that one. This is the red and white. We're going to just push this up here for now. Get it where we need it to be. So of course these are long compared to what we actually need. That's kind of what we want for now. And then we'll go ahead and cut what I need later. Unfortunately, this one I think is short. Now, it might just make it. It might just make it. So we'll push it through here, like this, if I can fish you through. Okay, there we go. And this one's got to fish you through that one there. Right through. Now my cuts in here are not the smoothest, so we're going to put a little bit of that heat protectant pad against it. Like so. If I get it through there. Come on now. There we go. A little bit of patience. Okay, so it should be okay. So we're twisting here. So let's take this excess and pull it through. I'm not sure why that happened. It shouldn't have happened. Just pinch it. Should be somewhat even. Okay, I think we're good. And that's more than we need on that side, which is good. More than we need on that side, we're good. Okay, so we just got to make sure we got enough excess here. We're good. So what I'm going to do now is this one's short. I have an extra piece. I think that I'll be able to stretch that out. Let's see if I have a piece from the last build. And I think I do. And that should be able to stretch that one out, and we don't have to worry about it. And that should be enough for that, and then some. Okay, so let's stretch this out. Do I have enough here? with this. I might. You know what? We'll use this one. And then I'll order some more for the other. So, what do we need? Just get a scissor and cut this. Well, that should be good. And I'll have this out of the way. Just shove that through. So then once this is done, we'll tack that there and I'll show you. I feel like the quality of this one is better. Okay, so what we do with this is we tuck it in. I don't know if you guys can see the flared out section. You can cut it off if you like. But what I do is I just tuck it in, like so. Take my scissor and just push it in. Just like that. So nice and neat. And that should be able to slide right in, and then we can glue that together. Let me grab the glue. Now you want to shove that in a little further than you need to. This way it, just in case it stretches out, you won't have a problem. Because this stuff does expand, right? So the glue. Okay, a little bit of glue here. I'm just putting a glue on the heat shield. Just around. Not on the actual wiring, okay guys? And just a little bit, we want to get it all the way around as much as we can, just so it doesn't slide. There we go. And she's glued in. I'll show you what that actually looks like. Nice and neat. Okay? And she's going to hold in nicely. So let's push this through. Of course, I've got extra, right? And we're going to need some of that heat shield for the actual light wire too. So this might just do it. And I've got a couple of short pieces I can use for the tails on the burner, so that's good too. Okay, so we're good there. Okay, so we've got that all there, tucked in. So what I'm going to do is, so I don't lose this, is we're going to put strap tie down and just hold it in place. I'm not going to leave the strap tie there, but I've got enough to put my insulation in through, which is great, and that should hold it. Let me grab a tie this way the wire doesn't fall out and drive us crazy. Well, it wouldn't drive you guys crazy, it'd drive me crazy. You can't leave these ties, guys. They do melt, so I wouldn't suggest leaving these. Some guys use metal, ones that you would use for exhaust. I don't know, you can if you want. I've never done it. I don't know how well that would actually work up against the heat shield, being so tight. So I kind of like it left a little on the loose side. so it's not pushing up against anything. But that's about it for there. So they're tucked out through here on the sides. But let's go grab some of the actual heat shield that we can put around the openings, and then I'll just tuck it in between there so that it stays nice and soft, or I guess a smoother edge, so it's not pulling for any particular reason. I don't think it will, but I'll do it anyway. So let's go get that. We'll cut some pieces and put those in. Okay guys, so what I did is I went ahead and got one of my pads. Someone was asking me some info. So this is actually Firestop putty. It's made by Hilti, okay? Went ahead and got a scissor and cut some strips. And now what we'll do is we're gonna try to cover up or go around the cutted areas here and make sure that this doesn't catch anything on there, okay? So I will try to bring you in a little closer so you can actually see what I'm doing, and then go from there. Okay, so I got you in a little closer. We'll take this backing off this putty. And for some odd reason, I think I started my truck. Anyway, that's fine. So I'm just going to push that in there like that. And we'll take the tape. I'm going to have to take the backing off. Now they want you to wear gloves for this stuff, but honestly, I'm not quite sure how. And then we'll just cut it. And we'll do the back side. And just shove that in there. And we'll take a little piece for that corner, and we should be good. So basically all it's really doing is protecting the edges of that metal there against the wire. Which looks pretty good. There we go. There we go. Simple as that. Okay, so let's do the rest of them. I gotta do the back side of that one. Okay guys, so that's what she looks like. Okay, so it's right into the seam, and we've done them everywhere. Underneath also, right? Okay, the sides. The top. And the back side. Okay, and then you see all the high temp silicone all around the seams. Listen, it's a precaution. It just secures that there's no pinholes anywhere, just in case, because you're welding sheet metal. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and insulate this, and then we're going to cut out the bottom plate and get it mounted. This way we won't have to worry about this anymore. So there's enough plate here for the insulation to go in, and then we're good. And I've got enough play there. Okay, so we're in good form. You come up top, and I've got that strap tied to the angle iron here for now, so we don't lose it, and we're good. Okay, so let me get the insulation ready, and we'll get that in place, and we'll get the bottom plate cut. So what I got here, guys, is the bottom plate. I've cut the corners out. I actually had cut this one when we did the inner liner. I've gone ahead and marked where the openings are for the wiring to pass through the 2x2 tube. Marked them and put an X, of course, in the center pipe. I'll put an X, no screws there. And on top, no screws. So we can actually screw this in. Let me move back here. I've got insulation ready. And my self-tapper is ready to go. So we'll get this insulated. I'll show you how I'm going to do that and where I'm going to place the wires, and then we'll go from there. Let me get this on stand and we'll get right to it. Okay guys, so what I've done here is I've gone ahead and basically got the bottom plate done. So what I've done is I'll show you what I got here, okay? So she's already cut to fit in between the feet, like so. And then what I've gone ahead and did is mark where the wiring goes through, so we can't put any screws in there, okay? On both sides and in the middle, okay? So we can go ahead and screw this piece in. I've got the insulation ready to rock and roll. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut the insulation, put it in, and get this plate on. So let me put this back out of the way for now. And put it up here. It's out of the way. And we've got our insulation here. I've got my knife. Insulation is actually easier to cut with like a serrated or rigid knife, but this will work. Tape measure I got over here. I'm pretty sure it's 24. 22. Okay, so let's cut this at 22. And we'll get it tucked in there. There we go. And you just tuck it up against that insulation, just like that. And we'll take off that excess. And we'll do the same thing over here. This is just to hold the insulation in place. Make sure we have somewhat of it tucked nicely. Oh, don't stick together. There we go. And then we'll cut those excess off. And then we're going to put one right across our seam here. There we go. Just cut the excess off. Now we're going to do the same at the bottom, then we'll do up high. There we go. Hopefully you guys will be able to see the bottom. Thing is, I don't trust this gimbal following me, but anyway, we'll do what we can. I feel like if it doesn't follow me, I'm missing all kinds of footage. But, oh, we'll try. Is it following me? Yeah, it is. Look at that. I'm getting professional. There we go. Let's do one at the bottom. Then we'll put one going right up top, right across. And that should hold it in place beautifully, right? So if you guys look down here, cut that excess off. So you don't see it. Okay, let's cut the long pieces now, and we should be good. More or less. This out of the way. Oh, I got my tape. I'll repeat all of this once we do the sides and everything. The same way you see I'm doing this is what I'll be doing there. There we go. Not bad. Get rid of that. Okay, let's cut the next piece, which is over here. That should be good. I'll leave the excess down there to fill up that void. And then we're going to get that, put it right over there. I'm just going to cut that little excess off the bottom. Push that down. that off. Cut that off, and we're good. Let me put another one here. Make sure that's nice and stuck together. There we go, guys. She's taped in. Perfect. Let me put this tape away. Now the insulation I'll keep, even the little scraps. Because what we're going to do with that is we're actually going to, once I've got everything else insulated, we're going to stuff these pipes. And I'll show you how I do that. Okay, let's move this insulation out of the way, the extra, because we're not throwing it out. I'll just put it up here for now. And let's get this screwed in. Let me put on a pair of gloves. So remember, I've got this thing marked, right? Let me put that. Is that doing anything? It's not doing anything. Okay, hold on. That should be good. That's a good self-tapper. Wow, great. All right, let me fix that. That's a piss off. That's a total piss off. I might have to pre-drill. I'm not going crazy. Snapping heads. Excuse me, guys. That should do it. Let me see the thickness of this. Yeah. All right, let's pre-drill. Might make life just a tad easier. Let's see if this drill bit works well. I'm hoping. Nice. So then we're going to keep doing that, okay guys? We're going to go around and guys, I've got her all done, screwed in, ready to rock and roll. So I'm going to clean that up, and we're going to give her a coat of some high heat paint. Reason why I want to paint that is because once it's back up on its feet, I don't need to bring dropping it down anymore. The wiring's all run. That's sealed and insulated, so she can stay on her feet. We don't have to ever worry about it. I'll probably roll the paint on, and the rest of the oven will be sprayed. But the bottom, I'm not going to bother getting the spray gun out for you know, a small piece of sheet metal. But at least I have it covered. So let me put this camera back up on a tripod, and I'll get the roller out and we'll paint that up. I got my paint ready. Let's put a coat of paint on this thing. I wiped it down, cleaned it up. Listen, it doesn't have to be perfect. All it has to do is make sure that the metal's covered and doesn't rust. And of course that it's high heat paint. No one's really going to see it, but more so just, you know, knowing that I've done my job and done it right. There we go. So let me put a container on the cover at the bottom. Get paint on the floor. Now spraying it will be definitely what we'll be doing for everything else. You just get a better finish. But for what I'm doing right here, the only time someone's ever going to see this is if they flip it over on its side or on its back. Could I leave it? I probably could. But you know what? I'm not going to. So guys, I've given it a coat of paint. High heat paint, rolled it on, perfect. I'm just gonna, I don't think I've got any runs, so I'm just gonna let it dry for a few minutes, and then we'll give it a second coat, and then we'll get her back up on her legs. She's looking good. Okay guys, let's go give this thing a second coat. Still a little tacky, but that's okay. Just make sure we got an even coat on it. And then it'll hopefully flash dry nice and even. I think it will. Looking pretty good, guys. Now, if you guys wanted to paint the whole oven like this, you could. You could. I mean, I have a sprayer. I mean, you can buy a cheap sprayer and do it. It's quite easy. And you'll get a professional finish, right? This, I mean, will cover up the metal, stop it from rusting and so forth, and look good, but you'll always get a better finish with a sprayer, in my opinion, anyway. I mean, now I think you can go to Princess Auto and buy a sprayer for like 30 bucks. So I think I've seen them as cheap as 25. And by the time you buy a roller and a small sponge roller like this, and you know, a pole for it, and a little dispenser for your paint, I think you're at that point. I mean, yeah, I agree. You're going to need a whatchamacallit, you're going to need a compressor, but if you have one, I would highly suggest spraying it. For me, it's more just about cleaning the mess up after, when I know I have to get it out to paint the rest of the oven. That looks pretty good. We're going to call that done. I'm going to get rid of all this stuff. We'll let that dry and we're good. So guys, it's the next morning and we got the oven back up on its feet. The underneath is all done. So what we need to do here now is we got to plan out for the control panel. So we need an inlet to allow all the wiring to enter the box. And then we need an outlet here for our power. So what we're going to do is take the face of the box off. We still actually have to run a wire for the light, but I'm waiting for some shielding. I've got some small pieces, but I'm not going to use them. I'm going to use those for the pigtails for the burners. But what we want to do is take the face off of this and figure out exactly where we need to put the hole for the inlet and outlet. So let's get that started. I'm going to pause this camera and put it on a tripod and let's get rocking and rolling. All right, so let's take this panel off. And see where we're at. There's a few things that we need to put into this panel too. But once I get there, I will definitely show you guys. And then I'm going to try to go as in detailed as possible when I'm actually going to wire this thing up so you guys can see how I do it. I know that it sounds pretty complicated, but it really isn't. The only concern I would have, of course, is that it is 220. And you're going to have to be real careful because with 220, it's enough to kill you. Okay, so we've got the depth of this, which is our controller. So I'd like to try to get that wire to come out in behind that controller or offset of that controller. So that's right there. Let me get a marker. Oh. I thought I had one with me. Oh, I put it up here. Hold on. Let me kind of get an idea where we need to put it. I'm just going to mark right here. That should be okay. So that's if you guys can see, that's the mark of the outside of this controller. So I'm thinking we're still in line with that. And there's the top of the angle iron. So I'm thinking right about here should do okay. And the controller box outlet, we won't want it too close to the fan. So we're going to do that right here in order to put the cable in. That should work out good. The ground's here. Now we also have a power bar, or power distribution, I can't even pronounce it, but power distribution bar that's going to go here. So let me find that. I know I got it somewhere here. I do. Let's see if I can get that in there. And I should be able to. It's a little long. Okay, so that means we got to bring that up higher. Or, well, no, we can do it. We can do it. Totally. Okay, so we're going to make this shorter, and I'll show you how I do that. It's pretty easy. I'm not happy the way that's sitting right now. Or do we go ahead and not use it and just moret it? Well, let me drill the holes out first, and then I'll see what I can do with this power bar, or power distribution bar. Don't have to use it. I'd like to. We'll figure it out. I figure it out. Okay, so we have to take that off the oven. So we're going to need, I think it's an 8mm wrench. Yeah, it was 8mm. All right. Ratchet. Get rid of our spacer. As soon as I loosen this one up, okay, so what I will do is bring you guys in a little further or closer into the box so you guys can see what I'm doing. Let's see if I can move that camera around and get you guys closer. Let's see. Okay, so let's drill this out. I made a mark already. Just got a clean drill bit. Okay. Okay guys, so I got it ready. Let's get these grommets in first, and then we'll take a look and see what I'm going to do with that. I apologize for the noise of the compressor. It's pretty loud. One day I will get a scroll compressor, and that'll save the noises of the compressor. Actually, I was looking at the Eastwood one. It seems like a nice compressor. It's had some good reviews. Some people really like it, some people don't. But I've always had pretty good luck with Eastwood, so. Okay, so that one is in, and it's in pretty tight. And that's the rubber grommet for the inlet, and that goes there. And that goes there. And now we need just this part. Oops, I'm dropping it. So what we want to do with this one is the long part is going to go into the oven. The short part's going to the back of the unit. Like so. And I'll bring you in, I'll bring this up to the camera a little closer so you guys can see. We'll tighten this up so it doesn't move. Then we'll figure out what we're going to do with that. Tighten those up. That's good. Nice and snug. Nice and snug there. That's good. So, there you go, guys. You guys can see that. Okay, so game plan now was with this thing. We can make it smaller, and the game plan is to do so. I'm going to flip this upside down so it stays. So what I want to do is put it above or just underneath there. So maybe we should get a tape measure and kind of measure it out. So I don't really need that many posts, so I can get rid of quite a bit of them. I'm wondering if I can get it right in here. So wire comes in ground. I think that's where we're going to put it. Okay. Okay guys, so I ended up cutting the plastic to make it fit. So we decided to go ahead and mount it this way. Okay, so that's going to work out quite nicely. And then what I'll do is I'll screw through the middle. I don't know if you guys can see that. There you go. And then I cut the plastic in order to go on top. Just like that, if you guys can see that. There we go. So what we'll do is we'll get, I guess, a nut and bolt that we're going to use to do that. And we'll put it through the back side of the box. And we'll mount that in there, like so. There we go, guys. She's in place. She's nice and tight. She's looking good. So what we want to do now is just make sure this plastic fits on top. And might have to throw it out a little bit. Get this one to go down a little bit more. I think we're good. Let's see if I can get a nut on that. So guys, I'm going to bring you in a little closer so you can actually see what I've done. Okay, so there it is. Plastic cover's on, the inlet, and the outlet is there. So next is to set up the cable, the plug-in cable, I guess would be the inlet. The outlet power. So we're going to get the cable, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to do that. This time I'm actually doing something a little different. I bought, I guess it's an RV extension cord, which is identical to what I normally use, but has both ends. So I bought an extra end, and what I'm going to do is make an extension cord. So the reason why I did that was that usually what I buy is plug end and then the 4-wire at the other end. This time it's got male and female on the end, and it's 30 feet versus being 15, and it was only a few bucks more, so I went for it. So let me show you what I'm going to do with that, and let me get it, and we'll get started with that. Okay guys, so here's the cord. It's a 30-footer. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut it in half. 15 feet is sufficient for the oven. What I'm going to do is I'll lay it all out. I'll get my death wheel out and cut it right in half, and then we'll put it into the control panel. And the other one I have an end, and we'll make it into an extension cord. We'll do that later. Okay guys, so I'm going to get the death wheel out. I'm going to cut that at 15 feet. It is a 30-foot cord. I tried to mark it out evenly. Made a mark somewhere. Should be able to see it soon. There it is. So it's just easy to cut. See the size of the thickness of that cable. So this is a 50 ampere cable rated for 50 amps, which is great. Okay, so we've got the cord mounted down here. So we're going to need about 6 or 7 inches of free wire. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slice this down the width of the box, maybe just a tad longer, and we'll try to cut it right above the ground. All right, that should give us enough wire to play with. Okay, so let's move that all over here. Move this in. I'll take this out. There should be a rubber sleeve. That'll go in here. You guys can see that. There you go. So she's in there nice and tight and even. And there's enough for the ground, and we'll get that wired up now. Okay guys, so what I've decided to do is move the ground wire over. The ground wire is here. I moved it over here because it's a little too close to the distributing block, so I moved it out of the way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this ground, and we're going to put the ground wire there. So let me cut this a little. It's a little too long. And we'll get a ground on there, or a terminal on there. Some thick wire, guys. All right, so we're going to use that, and we're going to crimp it in place, and then we're going to heat shrink it. There we go. Nice and tight. Get some heat shrink. I think this heat shrink will go over that. Will it? Yes, it will. Okay. So slide that over. All right, let's spark this up. Okay, so we'll put the nut and bolt from behind. Like so. And we're going to do a lock washer and a nut. So the ground's in there, guys. Now we got to do the red. Move that out of the way. Okay, so now we got to do the red, and we're going to do it up here, like so. The black and the white. White is going to be the shortest one, so we'll cut the white one now. We'll move it around, like so. We'll make a mark where we need it. We'll try to keep it as clean as possible and as neat, because there's going to be a lot of wiring in here. All right. And don't stab yourself with a piece of copper, like I just did. We put that there. That's nice and tight. Good. And I'll cut a piece of heat shrink again. I think that's going to go over it, no problem. Of course not. I'm going to get a little bit bigger heat shrink. Let me go grab some. All right, cover that up. Now you don't, when you're doing the heat shrink, you don't want to be direct heat. You want to have kind of feather it off a little bit. I mean, a heat gun would work well. I just have to go get it. I figure for the amount of heat shrink that I'm doing today, I'm okay with this. Okay, so there you go, guys. You got your red, your black, and your white. And then your white's hot here, and it's bridged over. And that's powering up these two extra here. So we have two extra connections there, which is awesome. So that's basically all we really need for this application. That's your solid state relay. And this is your inlet for all the power coming into the oven. So what we're gonna do is get this guy back up on the oven and run that wire through there. And then we're gonna wire up, next I think we're gonna end up wiring up the heat coils, and I'll show you guys how I do that. Okay guys, we're on top of the oven right now. So what I'm gonna try to do is, I know that I don't have the right amount of heat shield for this light, but I am going to be doing the wiring, so I want to make sure that the light's working. So what I'm going to do is going to go ahead and we'll temporarily wire her up and secure that she's good. I'm just going to push that in. And we'll heat shrink that up. I'm not sure if you guys can see that or not. There we go. Do this one here. This way we can, like I said, we can run it into the box, get everything wired up properly, and then make sure everything's working the way it should. Nice. I don't know if that's the right heat shrink. Yeah, it is. All right. Just gonna cut these to go over. Okay, let me go grab my torch. Oh, that was a terrible cut. Grab my torch. 1 second. can plug this in temporarily, and then we'll run the heat shield on it. And of course, why isn't this one going in? There we go. Perfect. So we got that wired up, and we got the wire ran where we need it. And we've got enough excess to get it through the insulation once we insulate it. So at least we got the wiring done here so we can get it into the panel. Okay guys, so let's get this thing back on, this control panel back on. Okay, let's try that again. I'll get the thermocouple wire put in through first, that's the longest one. So what I'd suggest is not cutting too much of this wire off until you're ready to rock and roll, until you're at your final stage when it comes to wiring. Because what will happen is if you're not prepared properly, you might cut things too short, and that's not going to work out well for anybody. But let's get one of the things on. One of the spacers. And slightly tighten it up. It doesn't go nowhere. There we go. Let me turn the lights on in here. It's getting dark again. That's better. Okay, so let's get the other one in with the spacer. There we go. Let's get another one in there. We got all the wires in there, nice and neat. There we go. One more. There we go. Tighten that up. Okay guys, so we got the wiring all brought into the control panel. We've got our plug here, which is perfect, and we're good. So now we'll spin her around and we'll get we shall get our coils hooked up. And we should be good. The two burners, 1 and 2, light, heat coupler, or thermocoupler. We're good. And here is fan. All right, we're good. Okay, let me tie that cord up so we don't destroy that cord. And do it that way. Get it out of the way. I'll put a hook on here. I think I have an extra hook somewhere. I can use this one for now. Like this. And we'll wrap up this cord, get it off the ground. Would be nice if it went in. There it goes in. There we go. There we go. All right, so she's there, she's good. So what we need to do now is pretty well assess the coils, or get the coils hooked up, and then we can start wiring this box up, this control panel, and then put this thing to the test and see if we're burning it okay. Okay guys, so I'm always saying okay guys. But anyway, we're at the point we're going to remove these coils, or heat burners, or elements, however you want to call them. We'll just take them out. We're going to end up putting them back in. But I always put them back in nice and loose because I'm going to take them out again when I have to paint everything, right? So pull them out. And we'll put that there. We'll do the same here. That one's good. I'm gonna have to throw that one out. Just leave that here, like that, and move all this stuff over. Look at this bit, it's dancing. How the hell did that happen? Was it my bit? Must have fall. Can't even speak English, but that's okay. All right, let's push these wires through the back side. Push that heat coil through. Okay. Pull up just a tad more. As long as we can. There we go. Good. We'll do this one. Take the tape off. All the tape. this one through here. Okay, we'll pull that through. Okay, let's pull that fiberglass back. There we go. Lots. All right, and we got lots here too. We're good. Okay, so we're gonna get those wired in, and we'll take it from there. Bring my stuff down. I think I've got the right ones already pulled out. I think these are the ones that I need. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Crimping iron. Heat tube. We need scissors, wire strips. Okay, and we need some super glue. And some wire shield, which I have where? Do I have that put somewhere? What did I do with the extra wire shield that we had? Oh, it's right here. All right. Okay. Okay, so the game plan here is that we've got all this threaded back, right? So we're going to tuck that in, like so. Try to make it nice and neat. If I could pull a little extra, it would be nice. All right. So I got it all tucked in nice and neat. So what we want to do is we want to cut 2 of the, I guess, heat shields. Not too long, but maybe about 2.5 inches, so I can make the 2 threads or 2 legs for the coils. So 1, 2, and these are going to go on individually, like so. 1 and 2. Okay. 1 and 2 like that, and then we're going to cut a bigger piece to go over top of them and glue them together. So let me find a bigger piece. I got a bigger one somewhere. Oh, where is the bigger one? I got a bigger one right here. Or can I get them in there? Well, maybe I can. And I won't have to cut a piece. Oh, we did that. That's awesome. Okay. So I was able to put them in there. The last time I did that, I wasn't able to do that. So that's good. So we're going to add a little glue. If I can get it out. The super glue is awesome, but the only problem is it constantly okay, there you go, guys. So I got the two legs glued into place. We're good. That should work out quite nicely. Now what we got to do is cut these and get the ends in and heat shrink them. Now we don't want them too long or too short. So we're going to go one, and that one is silver, the other one's gold. So we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to put a little bit of silver, a little bit of gold. Silver, gold. We're good. Okay, so let's get those wires in there. Should have brought that further back. That's all right. Okay. Twist that. Crimp nice and tight. And a little bit of heat shrink. Did I bring the lighter in here? I did not. Come on now.
All right, we'll keep that going for a second. Let me just put a little bit of gold paint on that. There we go. Let me push this one back a bit. Cut that a little shorter. A little too long. Crimp it in. And we got to cut that. That one should do it. Right over. Okay. And that one is silver, just so we remember. There we go. And then you can pull those back right on up, just like that. That's perfect. You see that? Okay, so this was number one. That's where number one's going to go. I think we need a star. We need a screwdriver. And we'll wire these puppies up, get them in place, and then put them back in loosely. But as long as they don't move, okay, guys? We don't want them to move because we're going to power them up. All right. So I need, what do I need? I need a screwdriver. I'm just moving all the tools in here, guys. All right. Okay. So, number one. Okay. Now these you want them tightened up quite tight. Make sure they don't move. You don't want to ream them to the point where you break the coil, but tight enough that they don't come loose. Just lightly bend them away. And then we'll pull those up. There we go. Tighten those up. So, washer. lock washer and nut. And tighten that up. There we go. That one's set up. That wasn't too hard. Okay, so let's get set up the other side. We'll move everything over. We'll need the white and red on this side. Gold we can put away. Nice. Keep those for extra. Nice and clean, guys. Looking good. And we'll repeat that on this side.
So guys, the coils are all wired up and remounted again. Temporary again. You have to remember we have to remove them to paint this thing. And we've got the control panel all brought into play. Wiring run through it and we'll get it wired up. So I'm gonna call this this one. I don't want it to get too long. The next video will be definitely wiring up the control panel. I try to go as detailed as I can when doing that. This way I know I get a lot of questions. So hopefully I can answer all your questions. You guys can definitely message me. I do respond to every message I get, good or bad. Hey, listen, we're getting there. So if you guys watched till this point, thank you so much. I do appreciate your support. Please remember to like and subscribe. It helps me out tremendously. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching.